We have two specific candidates that we've invited to speak to us tonight. We will give them the opportunity to do that. They each have 5 minutes to speak, 5 minutes to take questions, and then after that, then we will recognize any other candidates that might be here, or office holders that might be here tonight. So with that, our first candidate is Kim Laurie, who is running for County Commissioner. She is the president of the 912, Mentor 912 project. She has been heavily involved in fighting back the regionalism effort of the NEOSCC here in Northeast Ohio. So with that, I'll give you Kim Laurie.
Hi everybody. What a great crowd. As Chuck said, I am the president of the Mentor 912 project. I have been for almost a year now. And in doing so, learned a lot about NEOSCC and their regionalism efforts that not only would affect us here in Lake County, but also 11 other Northeast Ohio counties. So I've been fighting for the last year against what they're trying to do. It's at a point where they have now, I believe, spent all of their $4.5 million of grant money that they received from HUD. They are looking for more funding, and one of the sources that they are trying to get funding from are the counties that they are targeting, which means our tax dollars. So they have asked for $15,000 per county for each of the next 3 years, I believe. And so in this fight, when I heard this news, I decided that I need to find out where are we in that process. Has Lake County been committed to spending our tax money to further these efforts? Is the vote coming up soon? I don't know. Guess who decides? The county commissioners. So my first step in the process of trying to get this information would have been to attend county commissioner meetings. However, to my dismay, they are held at 10 a.m. on Thursday mornings, and like most people, I work. So I cannot attend those meetings, unfortunately. So then the next step in the process was to start reviewing meeting minutes from the commissioners' meetings. If I can't be there in person, I will go ahead and look up their minutes and see what information I can find. I will tell you very little. I went through every single set of minutes for the entire year of 2013. I intend to go back farther, but as you can imagine, it takes some time. These meetings are pretty much every single week, so it was roughly 56 sets of minutes, not a single word about NEOSCC. However, I did find some other information that was disturbing. First of all, if you've never been to a meeting or never looked at the minutes, essentially most of what they do is review some resolutions, which are, how are we going to spend our tax money. They vote on it and move on. I estimated approximately 10 resolutions every single week that cross their desk. And for every single resolution, every single week, every single commissioner voted yes, unanimously, with hardly any discussion. There were only a few where there was any kind of notes about the resolution, and most of the time it wasn't discussion or it wasn't, a question about it. It was more or less a presentation of what this thing is and why we should be supporting it. So that was very disturbing. The other thing I noticed is at the end of every single meeting, the commissioners go into what's called an executive session. Anything that the commissioners discuss and decide on is supposed to be done in public view. Okay, that's why they have the commissioners' meetings in the first place. That's why they have the minutes posted for the public to review. However, there are certain topics, there are 3, that the commissioners are allowed to go behind closed doors to discuss, and they are things that you would want, to be kept confidential. For example, if the county is in negotiations for real estate, you wouldn't want the other party to find out, what your position is. So they are allowed to go behind closed doors for that. Another topic is personnel issues. So if you're having, some issues with one of the county employees, you don't necessarily want that to be public. They are allowed to go behind closed doors to discuss these things. What I was noticing is that in every single week, they had these executive sessions. And so the question is, are they having these executive sessions because there really is that much to talk about behind closed doors? Maybe, it's a big county, there's a lot going on. Or are they using this as an excuse to discuss some of these things that are not being discussed in public to go ahead and talk about it behind closed doors? And there's no way that we are ever going to be able to find that out unless we have somebody in that position who is allowed to be in those executive session meetings to then be able to verify one way or the other if they are using those appropriately or not. So those are the major things that I learned from reviewing the minutes. And so I started thinking, okay, so what's the solution to all of these issues? Well, one solution would be to find a candidate who would be able to stand for us, is knowledgeable about regionalism enough that they would be able to recognize the threat when it appears before them. A lot of times it comes in the guise of collaboration, which collaboration is great, but there is a distinct difference between collaboration and regionalism, and these people in these offices need to know what that difference is, okay? So I started realizing that, unfortunately, I can't trust that any of the candidates know this well enough, that they would be able to watch out for these threats for us. And so I ended up determining that the best person for that position would be myself, because I trust myself. I know what I know, okay? And I'm not afraid to speak up, as a lot of you know. And I also will happily share any information which is supposed to be public knowledge with you. If I can't convince the commissioners to go ahead and post it on their website, I will there, and you guys will be able to find it. You know how to reach me, you know where I am. I'm not going anywhere. All right, come to our meetings once a month, Mentor 912 Project. If you have a question, I'll be there, okay? So, have I used my 5 minutes?
You got 4 minutes for questions.
Okay, 4 minutes for questions, thank you.
Repeat the questions. Any questions for Kim?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. I would like to know if you're a Christian and where do you go to church?
I am a Christian, thank you for asking. I have been attending Grace Church in Mentor with Chuck and Nancy. They were gracious enough to invite me to attend their church. I've been going there for maybe 5 or 6 weeks now. Prior to that, when I was in high school, which I know I look young, but it was, you know, longer ago than you think. I attended Riverview Church in Chesterland. That was what I would have considered my home church at the time. We had, well, this was right before I went to college as well, so the timing of it kind of combined, where our pastor passed away suddenly, very unexpectedly. He was only in his 40s. He's very difficult for the congregation. I also then, shortly thereafter, left for college, where I went to Kent State, and I tried every single church there, and then never really felt at home at any of them. So it's been, you know, it's been a journey, but I really do enjoy Grace Church in Mentor, and actually Pastor Tim will be giving the invocation at my fundraiser on February 6th.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Could you just do a quick Reader's Digest recap on regionalism?
Reader's Digest version of regionalism. Okay, I'll do my best. The reason it's a little bit difficult to do that is because they make it complicated on purpose. They don't want people to know what's going on. Regionalism, generally speaking, okay, think about the way our government is constructed right now. So you have federal government, state government, county government, cities and municipalities. Well, what regionalism wants to accomplish is to create one more level of government between counties and the states. This is a regional governance. It's not something that's constitutional, so they can't actually call it a government. But by calling it a governance board, you don't even have to have elected people on this. Okay, they appoint the people who will serve on this regional governance board, who will then dictate down to the counties restrictions that the counties will then have to follow if they agree to it, which is why it's important that we have county commissioners that know not to agree to this, so that we don't get wrapped up in this kind of thing. So NEOSCC, which is the Northeast Ohio Sustainable Communities Consortium, They like to call themselves NEAS because I think that's easier to say. They are a private organization which our metropolitan planning organizations have partnered with, okay? A metropolitan planning organization, the one that covers Lake County is called NOACA, Northern Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, okay? It's Lake County, I believe it's Ashtabula, Cuyahoga, there's Geauga, and one other. There's 5 that it covers. There are 3 other MPOs, Metropolitan Planning Organizations, in Northeast Ohio. The total of the 4 cover 12 Northeast Ohio counties. I feel like I need a chalkboard. So, all right, so we have 12 Northeast Ohio counties. These 4 MPOs have partnered with NEOSCC to try to develop a regional governance board over these 12 counties. Okay? And that's what we're trying to prevent from happening. Okay. Thank you very much.
Your other candidate that we have with us this evening